Africa. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma set to set up a commission of inquiry into corruption allegations. And Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gets parliamentarian support for a second term in office. And survivors, Coast Guard say dozens of migrants are missing off Libyan coast. Hello and welcome to the program. I am Bisi Adebayo. We'll begin in South Africa, where President Jacob Zuma has announced plans to set up a commission of inquiry into allegations of influence peddling after a 2016 anti-graft report called for investigations into corruption allegations against his government. Mr. Zuma was ordered to establish the inquiry within 30 days of a High Court ruling last month, which upheld recommendations of South Africa's corruption-fighting public operator. His announcement comes a day before a meeting of the ruling African National Congress Executive Committee amid speculation that leader Cyril Ramaphosa and his allies are lobbying members to oust Zuma as head of state. The 75-year-old president has faced and denied numerous corruption allegations since taking office in 2009, surviving several votes of no confidence in parliament. Meanwhile, the Congress will be holding its first meeting since the party elections that saw Cyril Ramaphosa elected as leader last month. While the party's Secretary General, Ace Magashule, says President Zuma's fate on his possible removal from office would not be on the agenda. The meeting is to hold in the quiet coastal town of East London and puts pay to speculations that Mr. Ramaphosa, who's the head of the party and South Africa's deputy president, will oust Mr. Zuma and become the president ahead of the general elections next year. Mr. Ramaphosa defeated President Zuma's alleged preferred candidate, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, in the battle for the leadership of the ANC. Well, South Africa Bureau Chief Betty Dibia joins us now for more on this. Betty, it's good to have you. What more can you tell us about this inquiry President Zuma is set to open?
Well, a lot of people say it's long overdue, but it's stemming from the findings of the former public prosecutor, Ms. Julie Madonsela, who had investigated what's now described as state capture and due influence on state business by private citizens. In this case, they talked about the Gupta family and the son of the president, Judy Dlamini, in either distributing office or contracts and all that. Particularly had the case of a sitting minister who has now resigned, who said he was offered money to take a particular position. So these are some of the things that were investigated a year ago when just before Ms. Julie Madonsela left office. She released that state capture report. Of course, it wasn't concluded, but she had directed that the president constitute this commission of inquiry, where a chief justice will appoint a judge to look into or investigate further. Of course, the president had taken this case to court over and over, questioning the fact that in separation of powers, he shouldn't have been directed by the public prosecutor. Of course, the court had found that her recommendations are binding, so that he should do something. So probably bowing to pressure, he decided to do that in order to, in his words, he said, despite his reservations, he feels that the issues being raised deserve urgent attention, but that he's still raising those legal questions because it sets a particular precedent for the office of the president, whoever is in office, and so it deserves a legal certainty. But that's where we are now, and we have this bout of pressure to set it up at its start.
Oh, Betty, we know that this entire administration has faced several corruption allegations. Do you think that Mr. Zuma will be unbiased in setting up the inquiry committee?
Well, it's totally not in his hands. He has, because the issues being raised concern him and people affiliated to him, associated with him, and related to him, like his son, the Zuma. It's not in his hands. He was merely directed because, according to the Constitution, it's his place to constitute that commission of inquiry. But because the issues concern him, it's not in his hands to decide what happens. But he has directed the Chief Justice who now picks a judge. He picked his deputy, Justice Raymond Zondo, to head that commission of inquiry. We're yet to hear the terms of terms of reference for the commission, but that will be reviewed a little bit later.
Well, despite not being in his hands, like you just mentioned, do you have any idea of who would be members of this commission, and would they be able to carry out the inquiry without prejudice?
There is a constitution in South Africa. There is public attention on this issue. The only thing I can say is that the president went beyond what he was being pressured to do. I remember on the 2nd of November last year when he was addressing Parliament, he was saying, look, this thing you want, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to expand the scope. So you say corruption is a problem in the country. We're going to look beyond. All the people that have had undue influence on affairs of the state, beginning from 1994, will be exposed here. So in his own words, yes, some of you who have been asking for this, they just...
Well, many thanks, South Africa Bureau Chief Better Dibia, for those updates.